This is the history of Africa's colonization, one of the most dramatic and world-changing events in human history. Stay with me, because the story is not as simple as it is often told. Before European colonization, Africa was politically diverse. Powerful states existed across the continent. In West Africa, empires like Mali and Songhai controlled gold and trans-Saharan trade. In East Africa, Swahili city-states connected Africa to Arabia, India, and China through Indian Ocean trade. In Central and Southern Africa, kingdoms such as Congo and Great Zimbabwe built complex societies and economies. North Africa was deeply connected to Mediterranean and Islamic worlds, while Ethiopia remained one of the few African states with a long continuous imperial tradition. Africa was not isolated. It was already part of global trade and diplomacy. But by the late 1800s, global power was changing. The Industrial Revolution transformed Europe. Factories needed raw materials like rubber, palm oil, cotton, and minerals. European nations also wanted new markets for their goods. Africa became attractive not because it was empty, but because it was rich in resources and strategically important. At the same time, European rivalry intensified. Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, Portugal, and Italy competed for global influence. Colonies became symbols of power. Missionaries and explorers entered first, followed by traders, and eventually soldiers. What began as trade soon became control. In 1884, European powers met in Berlin. No African leaders were invited. At this conference, rules were created for claiming African territory. European nations drew borders on maps, often ignoring ethnic groups, languages, and existing kingdoms. This period became known as the Scramble for Africa. Within a few decades, nearly the entire continent fell under European rule. Britain controlled large areas from Egypt to South Africa. France dominated West and Central Africa. Belgium took control of the Congo, where exploitation led to millions of deaths. Only two African states largely avoided colonization: Ethiopia, which defeated Italy at the Battle of Adwa, and Liberia, founded by freed African Americans. For many African societies, resistance followed immediately. Colonization was never accepted quietly. Across Africa, leaders and communities resisted. Samori Touré fought French expansion in West Africa. The Zulu resisted British forces in Southern Africa. The Moja Moja Rebellion challenged German rule in East Africa. Ethiopia's victory against Italy became a symbol of African resistance worldwide. Despite resistance, European military technology and political divisions often gave colonial powers the advantage. Colonial rule reshaped economies. African lands were reorganized to produce crops and resources for Europe rather than local needs. Traditional leadership structures were altered or replaced. The effects of these changes would last far beyond colonial rule itself. Colonial borders grouped together communities that had never shared political systems, while separating others who once belonged together. These artificial borders later contributed to political tensions after independence. Languages, education systems, and economic structures introduced during colonial rule still influence many African countries today. But colonization also sparked new ideas. African intellectuals, soldiers, and workers began demanding freedom, equality, and self-determination. By the mid-20th century, independence movements spread across the continent, ending colonial rule one country at a time. The history of Africa's colonization is not only about loss. It is also about resilience, resistance, and survival. Understanding this history helps explain modern Africa, its challenges, its strength, and its future. Because Africa's story did not begin with colonization, and it did not end with it either. If this video changed how you see African history, subscribe for more untold stories that bring Africa's past back to life.